हेलो गाइस, वेलकम बैक टू न्यू कॉमिक्स। मैं हूं आपका होस्ट डॉक्टर मनीष एंड टुडे विल बी टॉकिंग अबाउट समथिंग व्हिच इज नॉट डायरेक्टली कॉमिक बुक्स बट या इट इज इनडायरेक्टली रिलेटेड टू कॉमिक बुक मेकिंग। जी हाँ दोस्तों, आज हम एक एआई टेक्नोलॉजी के बारे में बात करेंगे। एन एआई व्हिच इज करेंटली बीइंग डेवलप्ड बाय सम क्रिएटिव इंडियन पीपल व्हिच माइट चेंज द कॉमिक बुक मेकिंग सीन वंस एंड फॉर ऑल। दोस्तों, इस एआई का नाम है ऑटोड्राफ्ट and this AI can and is extensively being used to make some amazing comics. So one fine day I was just rummaging through the Pratilipi comics app and I came across some comics which looked a bit different from the usual conventional comic books and it felt very much artificial intelligence generated. So after inquiring a bit मुझे पता चला कि इस AI को comic book making में extensively use किया जा रहा है. So this AI allows you to train a character, यानी कि जो consistency का issue था उस इशू को हटाया जा रहा है. So एक ही कैरेक्टर को डिफरेंट पोजेस में डिफरेंट फॉर्म्स में आप ला सकते हो एंड यू कैन डू अ बंच ऑफ ब्रिलियंट वेरियस स्टफ्स व्हिच वी विल टॉक अबाउट इन अ मोमेंट. एंड इवन आई गिव दिस एआई अ ट्राई एंड फ्रैंकली स्पीकिंग बिफोर आई वाज अ बिट स्केप्टिकल कि एआई को क्यों एक्सेप्ट किया जाए, बिकॉज मी आई एम ऑल्सो एन आर्टिस्ट. काफी एमेच्योर हूँ आई नो, but still I am a creative myself and AI is sort of being considered as a bane for comic book makers and artists especially. But after I started using this auto draft and after I learned how to access all the features and how this can aid me as a creator in making my future projects, my perspective towards AI has changed completely. Yes, I agree it might not and it should not be replacing the real original artists, but it can and it will help them a great deal if they can actually access all the features of this and use it for their own creative purposes. So ये कोई इंडिविजुअल भी यूज कर सकता है, अ बिजनेस एंटिटी कैन ऑल्सो यूज इट, चाहे वो कॉमिक बुक मेकिंग हो या एनिमेशन हो या कुछ भी. द स्काई इज द लिमिट और यू कैन जस्ट मैनिपुलेट और एडिट योर ओन पर्सनल पिक्चर्स. दोस्तों, देयर वाज अ टाइम जब मैनुअल आर्टिस्ट लोगों को डिजिटल आर्ट से इंट्रोड्यूस करवाया गया था. Many were not able to accept this shift wholeheartedly, but today we all know कि digital art को कितना extensively use किया जा रहा है. There are many publishers who does not even want manual artists to work in their projects. So yeah, nothing is permanent except change. And this AI is bringing about some serious change in the comic book and animation industry, and that's for sure. एंड मजे की बात यह है दोस्तों कि यू डू नॉट हैव टू बी अ वेरी हाई स्किल्ड आर्टिस्ट टू अंडरस्टैंड हाउ दिस वर्क्स. यू कैन बी अ लेमैन, यू कैन वॉच दिस होल वीडियो एंड यू कैन फिगर इट आउट फॉर योरसेल्फ कि कैसे इस एआई की मदद से आप कुछ रैंडम कूल इमेजेस जनरेट कर सकते हैं. रिसेंटली यालेड क्रिएशंस का एक कॉन्टेस्ट चल रहा था जहां पर मैं कुछ एआई जनरेटेड इमेजेस अपलोड किया हूं एज एन एंट्री फॉर द कंटेस्ट एंड हियर यू कैन सी दोज जनरेशंस. And just tell me frankly, doesn't this look really cool? So yeah, not only is it saving a lot of working hours, it is also making the job a bit easier. So दोस्तों, देर किस बात की, अगर आप भी इस टूल को यूज कर सकते हैं that too for free, then why not just give it a try? So दोस्तों, कैसे इस टूल को यूज करना है इसके बारे में जय आपको विस्तारित रूप में बताएगा. So I'll hand over the mic to Jay and he will explain you all the steps in vivid detail so that you can use it like a pro. Here we go.
Hello everyone. Welcome to this product demonstration of Autodraft. Autodraft provides custom models for all your visual storytelling requirements, be it comics, animation, or gaming. In these custom models, you can train your objects, characters, and art styles for consistent outputs. We'll walk you through all the product features with different examples so you'll have better context. So let's get into it. So this is our website. You click on autodraft.in and you land on the home page. So as I said, we provide ultimate style and character consistency. So you train a specific model for particular object or character or styles, right? So this is our website. You will be able to see different custom art styles. For example, there is anime, there is comic, there is semi-realistic. Then we have different features. One is text to image, image to image with different control net and modes. We have AI paint and pose maker and many added features. This is our gallery. Here you will be able to see a few images generated using Autodraft. So you'll see different art styles, different characters. So some would be comic, some would be anime, some would be realistic, some would be photorealistic. So you'll be able to generate all these images on Autodraft. To use this tool, you simply sign in using Google or Facebook. Let me sign in with my Gmail. Once you sign in, you land on the project page. as I said, project page is the place where you make sure your all your generation is going to be consistent in one single art style. So for an example, if I click on start new project, then I'll be able to see three different models. There is semi-realistic, there is anime, and there is comic. We can also have additional custom trained models which will exclusively visible to you only, right? So for an example, I choose semi-realistic, I give it a name semi-realistic, and I create the project. So once I create the project, you will be able to land on the generation page. Generation page is where you will find all your AI features. There is text to image to image, AI paint, pose maker, object remover, various types of upscales, and there is something called remove background. On the right hand side, you will be able to see go to canvas option. Canvas is the place where you do all your basic editings. Then in settings, you will be able to see a few of our trained characters. There is Naomi, Riya, Rajveer. These are our preset few trained characters. You'll see different aspect ratios. You can use and choose them based on your requirement. You can add a few tags to it to the prompt to improve the quality of the output. There is also a section of negative prompt where you can add more details which you don't want in your image, right? So let's start with examples of each feature. I'll explain with different examples so you'll have better context while trying out Autodraft. So let's take Riya's character, and I say Riya in a black dress sitting at a bar table. Since I want a full body shot, I'll go with 2:3 aspect ratio. I can add a few tags to it. Since we have selected a semi-realistic, realistic model, all your outputs will be like that. So in terms of tags, if you're chosen semi-realistic model, then you cannot really use digital painting or graphic designing, right? So I use 8K, highly detailed, and hyper-realistic 3 tags, and I simply hit generate. So it usually takes between 20-30 seconds for one set of images to be generated. For one set of images, which are 4 images, we utilize 1 free credit. Okay. As a free user, you will get 25 free credits for you to try out the tool. And we have different plans in which you can go for more and more credits, right? So meanwhile, this is generating. Let me show you how image to image works. So you use image to image when you have a very clear output in mind. So let's say I have 3 characters, Naomi, Riya, and Rajveer. Now I want a very clear interaction between 2 of the characters or 3 of the characters. Then I just can simply go on to the internet and find a relevant image of that sort, and then I can create a specific kind of output, right? So for an example, let me go on to the internet and find an image. For an example, I say a girl studying in a library. For an example, this is the image that we take. We simply drop the file here. You can choose an aspect ratio again the way you want. Now, once I select the image, I'll have 3 modes. There is default, there is deep copy, and there is copy pose. So you use default when you just want to use this image as a reference, but the entire output should be largely dependent on the kind of prompt that you use. Deep copy will exactly copy the image. It will copy the kind of book stack here has. The girl has a bracelet on her wrist, right? There is a kind of jacket that she's wearing, a specific kind of hairstyle she has. So I can keep everything else the same just by replacing the face with Riya's, which is one of our trained characters. So similarly, you can put your character into any kind of reference image that you're looking for. Then we have copy pose. Copy pose is strictly for humans. When your reference image contains a few human beings, then it will copy the poses of those 2 human beings, but will change everything else, right? So for an example, I say Riya is sitting in a library. I'll show you all 3 so you'll have better context while using this particular modes. So let's try with copy pose first, and I simply hit generate. I simply copy the prompt from here. I go back and paste it in the prompt section. I change the mode and generate. Similarly, I can again paste it and change the mode and generate. Meanwhile, these images are being generated. Let's check our text to image output. So we have said Ria in a black dress sitting at a bar table, 8K, highly detailed, hyper realistic. Now, one thing to notice in all four outputs is the consistency of Ria's character. Since she is our trained character, you will see consistent images of her being generated across all the prompts that I use, using her name as a keyword. So yeah, something like this. Right? Once you are ready with four of your generations, four images, then you can regenerate four more images. You can generate four more variations of an existing image just by clicking on variations. We have something called creative upscale. So you must have seen in many of your AI generated outputs that there are deformities in hands, face, eyes especially. So to eliminate those, we've introduced something called creative upscale. So creative upscale, what it does is it actually breaks down the entire image into small pixels. Individually, it upscales all the pixels, keeping the prompt in mind. So it revisits the prompt every single time to kind of add more detail, better the color scheme, and better the output in general, right? So that is our creative upscale. Then there is normal upscale. So normal upscale actually increases the size of the image but does not really add details to it. So you can, for an existing size of the image, you can do it 2x, 4x and 8x, right? Then there are few other options. You can do edit image. Basically, if you click on edit image, then you go back to the image to image where you use this image as a reference, and then you can add prompt to it. AI paint is to minorly modifying an existing image. If you don't want a specific portion in a particular image, then you basically brush that and do that. I'll explain that feature in later part. Now we have something called remove background. So for an example, in visual storytelling cases, you want your characters to be separate, you want your objects to be separate, you want your certain art style to be in a specific setting, right? What you exactly do is you remove the background of this character and then you set into a different setting. How exactly we do that? We do it using move to canvas. So here you will see move to canvas feature, in which, let's say I take this particular image and then I click on move to canvas. When I move to canvas, you land on the canvas page. Canvas page is where you can do all your editings. So for an example, this is the particular image that I want to edit. So I have various filters available. I can flip the image, I can set adjust the frame of this, I can do all the stroke options are there, right? You can customize the background, you can add speech bubble to it, you can add text to it. If you have like marketing use case, then you can just use text to basically kind of add more details to your existing image. You can add, you can generate a few images using text to image or image to image, just like the generation page. And then all outputs you can definitely use over here. So for an example, I want Ria to be in this specific pose but in a different setting. Then I can generate a background from here, and if not, I can simply upload it from my computer. So for an example, let me take this particular image, right? I choose 3:2 aspect ratio, I upload, I add it here, then right click and I set this image as a background, right? So it had added it as a background. Now if I want to use Ria in this specific setting, so this is, I'm taking a very random example, you can do more detailing to it, right? I just simply remove the background from here. Yeah, so the background is gone. Now you can, the way you want, you can use Ria's image in this particular background. So your entire scene can be ready in this canvas section, right? And once you are ready with all your generations, you can add more frames to it. And let's say if you are ready with this particular frame, you just simply export it from here, right? So that is our canvas for your basic editing requirements. We can add more details to it, more features to it as and when the requirement comes. We go back to the generation page and check out our image to image outputs. So we took this particular image as a reference. Then we use copy pose and we said Ria sitting in a library. So it actually copies the pose of Ria in a specific setting using the reference image, but will change everything else based on the requirement, right? All these deformities you can ignore, you can creatively upscale it and can basically remove those. That was our pose. This was our deep copy. So you see, as I mentioned, the kind of clothing and the kind of book stack was there. It actually exactly copies the image and changes the other things, right? Or you can use default. So I said Ria sitting in a library, so it took image as a reference. There is a cupboard and all these things, but it had changed everything else, right? So that is our image to image. You will see the difference between copy pose, deep copy, and there is default, right? So that is our image to image. AI Paint is, you must have seen in many AI tools that you're not able to generate a specific kind of output or a complex scene that you're trying to create, right? So, for an example, I want to create a scene in which a man is fighting with a dinosaur in a dense rainy forest, right? So, what happens in that case is sometimes it will give me both the dinosaurs, sometimes it will give me a man and a dinosaur, but man has some texture of dinosaur, right? Those kinds of output I was not looking for. So in that case, you use AI Paint. So AI Paint is basically to modify a specific portion of the image, but not an entire image. So for an example, I take one of the images from my computer, right? You can again specify an aspect ratio. Then we have a guide to basically walk you through how AI Paint exactly works, right? So you first upload an image, then you select a brush size, then you basically mark the specific portion that you want to modify, and then you can add a prompt to it, right? So for an example, I specify this particular portion that I want to modify. And then I just simply say Spider-Man mask, and you hit generate, right? So something like this. That is for AI Paint. Meanwhile, this output is being generated. Let's explore Pose Maker. So we have got a requirement from our users that we are not able to find all kinds of poses for our characters, and especially the ones who are using it for animation or motion comic. You need sometimes you have superhero kind of content, right, in which you need the character to be in a different poses, which are all not possible to find on the internet, right? Then we have introduced Pose Maker. Pose Maker, you specify the class from the settings, be it male or female or child. We have a few presets, those are walking. Then we have some standing presets like this. You can also add like dancing ones, right, and few other miscellaneous ones. So let's say if you're ready with your existing presets, if you're happy with your presets, well and good. Otherwise, you can modify accordingly and as per your requirement, like this, right? So once you are ready with your pose, for an example, I take this one. You click on copy pose from bottom right corner. From here on, it's all image to image, right? So you simply click on the prompt section and you say, for an example, I say a Roman king is working on his laptop by the beach. Okay, I again add a few tags and you simply hit generate. Meanwhile, this is done. Let's check our AI Paint. So as I said, we brushed a specific portion to it get modified, and this is how you get the result. Everything else in the entire image is the same, and just the face that we have brushed, it has been modified, right? Meanwhile, let me show you how creative upscale works. So this was our originally generated image. Now if you look at the face and the hand of this particular person in this generated image, you'll see a lot of deformities in this, right? So to kind of, as I said, it improves the details and add more colors and improve the scheme of the colors and all. So once you creatively upscale it, the output looks something like this, right? So that is our creative upscale. This was an original image. After creative upscale, you get an output like this. Yeah. Meanwhile, our Roman king is working on his laptop by the beach, something like this. So that is our pose maker. Then we have object remover, which is very simple to understand. It's the similar thing as AI Paint, but AI Paint adds details. It actually removes the details from the image. So for an example, I take one of our images. So, or simply let's take this particular image, right? So I took this image, I want to remove this coconut tree. So I simply brush accordingly. Once you are ready with your brushed portion, you simply click on remove. And the coconut tree is gone, right? So similarly, you can remove any object or person or any sort of material that you don't want in your existing image. You just simply brush it and it will remove on its own. Upscale, I have explained you, there are 2x, 4x and 8x options for normal upscale, and for creative upscale you can also upload your existing image from the computer and then creatively upscale it. Remove background use case also I have explained you take or generate an image, there is a character in it, you want just character but not the background, and you want to set this character into a different setting, then you simply remove the background and set them, right? So yeah, text to image, image to image, AI Paint, post maker, object remover, upscale and remove background. We also have a lot of different features in pipeline for our animation studios and all. So we are also working on the animation use cases also. Okay, thank you so much for joining and hope you have a good time generating on Autodraft. Thanks.
So दोस्तों, hopefully by now you have learned a great deal about how to use Autodraft. So देर किस बात की, नीचे डिस्क्रिप्शन में दिए गए लिंक पर अभी आप क्लिक कर सकते हैं एंड यू कैन स्टार्ट यूजिंग Autodraft राइट अवे. और आपका 25 फ्री अटेम्प्ट्स खत्म होने के बाद यू कैन पे देम टू हैव मोर जनरेशंस एंड दीज आर ऑल द पेड फीचर्स दैट यू कैन एक्सेस वाया Autodraft. सो आज के लिए दोस्तों इतना ही. मिलता हूँ मैं आप सबसे अगले वीडियो में. तब तक के लिए टेक केयर, बाय बाय.